What's up guys, leftstickrightstick here again with Team Pick review number 15. We're actually in an extended episode this week. We're covering all the team picks I missed while I was on holiday. I tried to sort of do these while I was on holiday, but I just didn't have the time. So here we go with an extended episode. First off, we have The Pianist by Darth Mew. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. The music is great, although it's not original. It is actually, I think by a really old that is probably now dead French composer and pianist, and it's been transposed in by, I think it was Frodo a Million or something like that, and then Darth Mew just set the scene, a really beautiful scene. The lighting and atmosphere is so good, it's amazing, it's beautiful to look at, beautiful to listen to, and it's just puts a smile on your face and it's nice and relaxing. And what's really great about it is that it's not just static. The woman, that old lady there, actually moves along, and it does seem like, the movement sort of goes with the music. I don't actually know if there's any relation to the way the woman moves to the music. I can't quite really tell because I'm not musically talented, but it does seem like that is what movement you should expect from a pianist, I guess. So the whole thing just is very, very nice to experience, I guess, to listen and view, look at it. Everything about it is good. There's nothing to complain about. It makes you feel good inside playing this level. So definitely check it out if you want to relax or whatnot. But this is a very, very well-deserved team pick, I think, by Darth Mew. It's good to see sort of these type of levels being team picked. These ones that aren't just actual levels that you actually play through. This is like an experience, and it's good to see these types of levels being recognized a bit more. So, really like it. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. I think most of you will like this level, even though you can't really do much with it. So next we have Kingdom of Awesome. I think the only adventure in this whole episode this time. But Kingdom of Awesome is actually quite an old level by DigoKube. It's been out for quite a long time, and I feel like when this was released, it sort of sparked more creators doing adventures. This adventure actually had a really funny, well, it wasn't really funny, but for LBP standards, quite funny story, and it had really great characters. DigoKube makes really great characters, and you gotta play the whole adventure to find out, see all the characters, but they're all very well created, and they actually just seem to fit. They all gel well. Everything in this whole adventure gels very well. There's lots of nice little obstacles here and there, but I think the big takeaway is sort of how he worked everything into an adventure setting, this whole story, and the different scenes. He actually worked things out together so different scenes actually make sense within the story, like why you go into different areas. It all fits together, gels very well, as an added bonus is that you can actually play with all the characters. I think. Can't remember if we could use toggle, but yeah, you can. There's actually, you don't just use Sackboy as well. So there's everything in this adventure: story, there's gameplay, there's humor too, and there's also just little eye candy in terms of these characters that he's made. And there's also movie scenes, cutscenes in there, so it's really great. There's even a boss fight with a pug. There's nothing to not like, and it's a very overdue team pick, I think. And I feel like this was the level that sparked a few more adventure creations coming out, because since this came out and it was liked by loads of people playing, a lot more adventures have come out, so that's a good sign. So it really should be recognized, and I'm glad it has. It's finally been team picked. Kingdom of Awesome by DigoKube. So that's really good. Next up we have Chronocircuit by Robo Ranger. I mean, this is basically the level that stopped me trying to do it remotely, because doing this whole team pick analysis remotely while I was on holiday, because there was quite a bit of lag when I was playing this over the remote play, which this is a level that requires precision timing, because this is a mini game sort of level. It looks beautiful, and I really like the way the camera angle sort of changes as you go along this sort of ring. And the whole point of it is that you press the R1 button. It's a very simple game. Just press the R1 button when you're over these little blocks. It's sort of like you're unlocking, or sound like a digital sort of lock thing. You got to press it at the right time. It's sort of rhythm game, I guess. I didn't really get much music from it, but it's sort of like a rhythm game, sort of pattern game. And you have to click at the right time to progress stages, and they get more difficult. Things get faster. There's more layers, different layers of this ring. Represent different buttons that you have to press, so some of them you have to press simultaneously. It does get quite hard. I mean, I didn't get quite far because of the lag. It just I just couldn't do it. I think I only got up to like stage 8 or something, or stage 10, and then it was just going too fast for me to react with the lag, so it just wasn't working out. But Robo Ranger always creates some great sort of non-standard platformer levels. It does get quite hard, and I like the sort of variety. It's very challenging. It does keep you engaged because it's challenging, and the failed screen is kind of annoying when you fail too quickly, I guess. It just keeps coming up, and you actually have to press to reset it and start again. So I feel like maybe the reset stuff section could be a bit easier, but who knows. This is a really difficult, challenging level, and it's really got lots of replay factors, so well-deserved team pick. Next up, we have a Doodle Popit by ZHeroPL. It's actually a really nice Popit cursor level, just because the reason I like it is sort of mostly because it doesn't really stick to the sort of stereotypical aesthetic that most people go towards when they make a Popit cursor level. You normally see, when you think of Popit cursor level, you have the blueprints theme and everything. I mean, you can still see some blueprints here, but I like that there's these extra characters that he's made, and there's extra depth. I mean, you can see there's actually depth in this level. You can see that chain swinging in the background. There's sort of all the extra little bits that sort of help to just make this level seem a bit different from the rest of the other Popit cursor levels. And I like that we're not locked into very restrictive what we can do in each section, like creating the bridges. Usually in Popit cursor levels, we just get given, we're told we can only use this one block, this type of block to make the bridge or whatnot. There's a little bit of playing around, and the way this level is decorated really does stand out. And sort of there's lots of different actual mechanics in this whole level as well. The one thing I do criticize with this level is that I feel like if you're going to create these characters, these different characters, it would have been nice sort of to include some interaction with these characters. That probably would have made it a bit more, elevated this level a bit more to be more fun. And there's actually ZHeroPL uses the Popit cursor in very varied ways, using switches and stuff and puzzles, so it makes it more engaging rather than we're just building bridges here and there. Building bridges, that's all we do. I mean, there's a little element of building bridges, and it's quite short, but the extra characters and the dynamicism of that in the background with the chains moving and stuff makes it a lot more enjoyable. So then there's the Lost Shadows by Gunk Gamer 1. The aesthetic is very simple. It's one of those sort of black and white sort of, well, it's not, but it's black and yellow? Gold? But it's sort of those silhouette style levels, and we're actually being toggled, which is a nice little change. Maybe? I don't really know. But this is a nice foresty setting. I mean, the setting really goes with sort of the title font, which is quite nice, and the music is very nice as well. There's the level progression is not really that challenging, I guess. It is very simple with the toggle, but it does look nice, beautiful. It's just maybe I'm starting to play too many silhouette levels, that it's not quite working on me anymore. I mean, I used to love these silhouette levels, and I just didn't quite feel it with the Lost Shadows for some reason. Maybe I just didn't like these little tunnel sections. They just seem a bit meh to me. Especially, I mean, your little toggle, and you're going through a very straightforward mini tunnel. This sort of section really didn't work for me at all. I mean, those tilting bridges, that was kind of nice, and the way he's done the aesthetics, Gunk Gamer has done the aesthetics. I really like this whole digital leakage from that spawn point, which is quite nice. And it's good that we have the, you don't see many silhouette levels utilizing water as well. That's a nice little change, but I'm not quite sure it really works all too well with it, to be honest. The water sort of adds an extra 3D element, 3D-ish look element that doesn't quite seem to fit, maybe. So, and also maybe my total costume actually being illuminating doesn't quite help sell the sense of the silhouette level. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Next up is Way Platformer by ARCHETYPERVB. This is what I'd like to say is, this is we're in the middle of a whole rut. I think this week's of sort of team picks were a bit really. I mean, I don't really know what really to say about this level, except for that one, it felt a bit too long. I mean, it's good that you could actually use all the characters. There were sections for each character: Sackboy, Toggle, Oddsock, and Swoop. But it just felt like a really simple, basic go around this super large maze and collect stuff. I mean, it's nice that every character had their own different things to collect, but there was like no story element where you were just like, oh, okay, we're now the next character and we're collecting different. Why are we like Oddsock? Why are we collecting bones? Why are we collecting gold for Toggle? It doesn't really quite make sense. We're just being pushed through this whole section of a maze and just trying to collect bubbles and whatnot. It feels like if we were to do that, you should have put in some story. Why are we changing characters? That'd make it a lot more enjoyable, because it's quite, this whole level I felt was very bland in terms of we just go left, go right, just make it through this maze. I mean, like the Oddsock section was probably the most exciting, where there was a little chase scene. But aside from that, I mean, actually no. Actually, I think Swoop also had a chase scene. But like, the chase scenes were the only excitable part, and just felt the whole maze just made the whole level felt way too long. So this was not really one of my favorite team picks, and this whole week was a bit questionable generally overall. But yeah, they had some exciting parts, and I mean, the aesthetics of some of these sections were quite nice. Like the Swoop thing, it does look kind of nice, but it's just nah, the whole level's meh. Next we have Rocket Rush by jaffakree. jaffakree normally makes amazing levels. This one is a bit questionable again. Rocket Rush. What annoyed me the most is, as you can probably tell, it's a race level. But what annoyed me the most was that the race was sort of split up into multiple sections, and then, you know, all these, there's collecting the bubbles section. There's like lots of bubbles that were completely out of the way. It would have ruined your time, like your whole race section. So I just didn't quite get the logic, you know, the mentality and thinking behind doing that, essentially. I mean, I like the aesthetic, don't get me wrong, the aesthetic is actually quite cool and nice, and I like that, you know, there's a race section that going through the spacey scene. It does seem to fit the whole sort of track, as it were, is pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong, the track is pretty good for this whole race, and I like the aesthetics and everything, and the sort of the obstacles, the way we go around it is quite nice, and it's got a nice flow to it in terms of just going through. But then the way jaffakree placed some of these bubbles and then putting breaks in between race sections, I mean, that I just find that very weird, mostly because there's no justification for it. I mean, apparently we're in some training. The story aspect of this level is just we're, you know, some trainee doing a training session. So surely if it's the training session, we should be on a race all the way through, right? We're trying to train, I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. But I mean, aside from that, and aside from having really out the way bubbles, which doesn't make sense for a race level, it was quite nice. I mean, I can see the appeal. Then next we have The Bunker 2 by Poms. This confused me a bit at the beginning, because this is a LittleBigPlanet 1 or 2 level. It's a really old level, but there's a new version that's been remade for LBP3, I guess. So yep, that's the only main confusion, by the way, that it is a really old level, and so it got team picked so late. But this is a great level. I like it. I really like that beginning section. There's actually really interesting obstacles being made here by Poms. Poms is a great creator. You should check out all his other levels. Although Poms does not seem to have been playing LBP for a long time. But The Bunker 2 is great. There's lots of varying sections. They do make sense, sort of thing, even if there's no narrative, but it makes a little sense just by going through it. There's parts, you know, and the obstacles sort of fit. There's a little change in the obstacles, even though, you know, quite a lot of the obstacles are quite similar, and like this whole teleportation thing is used in different sections in different ways, and sort of there's a puzzle element to it. It stays fresh. All the obstacles stay fresh throughout this, what is actually quite a lengthy level, considering. And so I think this is actually a really great level. We're back onto a more good theme. And then this whole, I really like this. This is my favorite obstacle in the whole level, these laser sight things. Really like to see you set sort of more of these. They're quite quick, and I think that the speed at which they actually lock onto you and shoot is actually at the perfect distance. My main complaint about this level though, the Bunker 2, is this whole last section, this submarine section. It feels like this could have been a completely different level. I mean, poms could have just chopped off the level just before the submarine section, made a whole new level with this submarine thing, add some shooters or like other obstacles, because this is just an on-the-rails thing, which is very nice, but didn't seem necessary. And then next we have Vector World by SCARYBISCUIT. This is a really great level. Vector World just looks so different. I mean, I'm really impressed with SCARYBISCUIT's ability to make this. I mean, look at, there's so much variety in the way things look, even though I'm sure everything, like, many things are like the same object, or I can't place in everything all over again. And I like that there's a dying screen, there's a you died screen, although I really wish that would be shorter, or like you can quickly press to skip, because after you die a few times it does get annoying. But I am really impressed with the look of this, the whole flat 2D vector look. It just looks great, and what is great about this level and what SCARYBISCUIT has done is that there's actually quite a lot of detail. I mean, considering it's just a flat 2D scape, all the colors, the color palette is amazingly chosen, and there's actually enough detail that it's not too bland, which is great. And the control's a bit weird though. I feel like the person does look a little weird moving, especially when he jumps. It does look a bit weird, but it's got a nice story to it, and I like the progression of different worlds, that he's managed to fit so much into one level, all these different decorations, and it looks great. It's a great new look for LBP, and I do like to see these levels. I'm a little biased towards these type of levels. They're always going to be a little plus in my book when you've changed the look, the graphics of a level. And you know, the gameplay is generally quite basic in this level, but I mean, that's not what's being assessed really in this team pick, I guess. This is more about what you're able to do with the LBP engine. This is really great that he's managed to change it so much. And there's actually so much to do, you know, there's so much different scenery in this whole level. I mean, before SCARYBISCUIT had the blip robot, but this is on a new level, it's great. And then next we have Mountain of Bizarre by NikzerNik. I think we played this and we showed this in a live stream before actually. And you know, there were lots of little ideas about it that I liked, in terms of, you know, the whole level you can't actually do your best run through on the first go. You gotta, you know, go and find stickers to unlock extra bubbles, as it were. So in terms of, you know, I like that the collectible element of this level is not just a simple find it. You actually have to find it, and then you have to you have to place the stickers to get it. So it's not just, oh, I found it and that's it. That's part of the collectible done. There's actually an extra element of I have to do something to get that collectible, which is actually very nice, to be honest. I do like that little aspect. But apart from that, the obstacles themselves were a bit, I guess, a little bland in some ways. I mean, and the sort of aesthetic, that the look of the ice is not so, I don't know, I feel like there's too many shards everywhere. But I do like the sticker to unlock the extra collectible bubbles, and I feel like it was just so short. I feel like all these stickers sections were just too close together. It's a really compact level, I guess. Everything was put together way too close together, and it's sort of, there's no, I mean, you can sort of walk through the whole level very smoothly, but for some, I just didn't feel a sense of flow in the level. Yeah, I don't really know quite how to explain that actually, because I mean, you could run through it very nicely, but I feel like all the obstacles sort of broke it up too much in terms of the difference between the obstacles. It didn't seem to quite gel. But that was Mountain of Bizarre. So team pick a bit. Next up we have Minitrain by Deco1357. I mean, obviously straight away the aesthetic is pure bliss. This is design heaven, the way this is done, and it's a simple minigame though. It's got a nice menu, it's got a great how-to page, and it's sort of like split into 3 sections, this whole level, which is very nice. And I just love this aesthetic. Just to let you know. And you are operating one train, and there's increased stations just keep popping up as you progress along. You have to take passengers to different stations, and actually I think there's actually quite good in that, you know, it's a visual cue in terms of the shapes and which stations the passengers they are, what passengers are, so you have to relate them to the right shape. The only thing I have a problem with is that when things got faster and faster, it did seem like there's no point, you don't need to see what station you are. You literally just pick up everyone that you can at one station and then drop everyone off you can at the next station. That's all you do. Because the speed-wise, that's all seems like you can do. And then there's, it's just how long can you survive. So I like that there's different shapes to use, and I like the color and the dynamicism on the background as well. Would have been nice if you could actually control multiple trains maybe on two sides of the controller. That may make it too hard. But I really like this level mini train. It's got, it does actually get harder very fast, to be honest. It starts off quite slow, it eases you in, and then it rapidly gets harder and harder and harder. But it's very nice. It does get a bit stressful in the end where you literally just go into the next station, press one button, press load button, offload button, onload button, and then go to the next station. And so it's sort of, you kind of go into a rhythm rather than actually figuring out who needs to go where. And then finally, the last team pick, while I was away, Spaceball by AGACY. This is a really cool level, to be honest. It's a very simple level, I guess you can say. I don't know. You are just a ball and you're trying to get through collecting fuel. I like that there's a minimal story. While the story element of this, there isn't really much. They just said you need to go collect fuel, but it just all seems to make sense. It doesn't need all that narrative. The narrative is just instantly you know what you're doing, and there is a form of level in there, which is really nice. There's collectibles here as well. So that's a really nice bonus. I always like collectibles in a level. Some are hidden, some are quite, in plain view, and you just got to use different abilities to get there. And I'm not really quite sure what Spaceball is exactly. And what's really great is that you actually also use the tilt controls of the controller as well in this level to create, to control those panels. There's some things that aren't really quite explained well, like why you can control those and stuff like that. But that's not too big of a gripe, I guess. And it's really, there's challenging level, there's challenging parts to it. So it's actually quite a fun level despite its simple look. Granted, I don't really agree with this whole red, the redness for danger. I know red should be danger, but it just doesn't look right, and you can fly as well. So this is a really cool level. There's lots to do, and it's great change of the look into a great sort of platformer as well. And there's also extra tilt controls, make it just that extra more impressive. And these collectibles, I didn't quite collect them all, so let me know if you actually can collect them all. They're hidden. So, and there's also, it gives you a reason to collect collectibles. These are fuel bits that you have to collect. So that's really cool. I really think this is one of the more deserved levels of this whole section, this whole episode. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of all these levels, and definitely stay tuned to LSTickrightstick for more dreams in LittleBigPlanet. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next time.